Hi, it's Gary at Habit Bunk, and in this video we're going to jump into the reMarkable tablet and I'm going to show you how I organise my life using a PDF planner and the native notebooks and how I tie it all together. I'll jump straight in so I can show you how it works. Just want to say thank you to everyone that's tried the planner so far and the really kind reviews that you've left. It really does motivate me to keep going with this, so I just want to say thanks very much. If anyone wants to get hold of the planner, I'll leave a link below. My goal with this whole thing is really to help people to get their ideas out of their heads and into the world in a way that reduces overwhelm. So if you want to get hold of the planner, I've tried to price it really fairly, but if you're on a low income or if you spent money on other planning systems recently and you look at this and you think this could really work for you, just send me a message. I'm happy to give you a discount to try and get this out to as many people as possible. So we'll jump straight into the planner, and I hope you like it. And if you've got any questions on how I use it, or if you'd like to see any more of the planner in any more detail, just drop me a message. So we'll jump into the planner now, and it'd be great to see what you think. Thank you.
Okay, so navigating the planner. So open the planner, and you've got access to an annual, a quarter, and a monthly view. From any of these pages, you can open the weekly page, or you can open any of the daily pages just by clicking on the links, and the quarter pages will take you through to the various quarters. On any of the weekly or daily pages, you can access any of the pages from the top navigation. So for example, you can access the weekly goal planning pages for your 1, 2, 3 goals, or the goal planning pages for your 4, 5, 6 goals here. Any of the greyed out areas here for monthly pages, so monthly tasks, or annual pages, future ideas, monthly review, the wheel of life, goals, which range from 3-year through to monthly goals, and then you've got projects for goal areas 1, 2, 3, and projects for goal areas 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so we're just going to talk about setting up files for the planner. So how to set it up is to have a folder for your planner, so Habit 26 demo here, and you have the PDF of the planner itself, and then for every page within the planner, because the planner's based around plan, do, and then review. So you've got, for example, planning your 1, 2, 3 goals here. So what's the single most important outcome for each goal this week? What small action would move each goal forward meaningfully? What obstacles might get in the way? And what would good enough progress look like? So that's planning. And then for the actual doing, you've got a native notebook. So for example, you can brainstorm by dates on what you want to get up to for these goal areas, or you can set a collection, for example, of projects within that goal area, or holiday plans. And then by using the notebooks, you can expand the notebooks by clicking this button here, and then you can tag the pages so you can easily find your projects or easily find your collections, for example your holiday note pages. So to set up the file for each of the pages within the planner, for example log 1, 2, 3, log 4, 5, 6, meeting notes, home, friends and family, reading diary, you would create a separate notebook within the file for each of these sections, which makes it easy to go through, for example, your log 1, 2, 3 notebook, holiday plans, and then to go back to the planner. So look at your logs, and then once you've done your planning, you've got your reviewing pages. So you've got a review of, for example, your goal review, or you've got a review of your daily journal, for example, to notice the themes, emotions and stories that shaped your week in your daily journaling. You've got some questions here, and each of the pages, you've got a fresh page every week. And if you're on week 2, for example, and you go to any of the, say for example the meeting notes, it stays on week 2. The daily journal review stays on week 2. So that's how to set up the files within the HabitPunk planner. Setting up your 6 goals. So the planner is based around 6 life goals, which once you've set them up, you copy those goals to the top of your pages to then keep the goals in view as you go through the planner, to help reduce decision fatigue and time blindness and focus on what's important to you. So to set up the goals, you've got the Wheel of Life page, and you've got a page for every month of the year, which you can access through the tabs at the top or just by scrolling left and right. And you've got 12 goals, so you've actually got 6 goals here, but they're broken down into 2, so there's 12 in total. So for example, area 1 is home and finances, and then you score yourself from 1 to 10 where you think you are now, and as you work through the planner throughout the year through your goals and plans, you hope to increase these scores to get to where you need to be. Okay, we're going to look at weekly goal planning. So we've got log pages 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So how this works is each of the 6 goals is then broken down further into 1, 2, 3, which is for home, and 4, 5, 6, which is for work or study. So you've got a page here every week to set up your plans for goals 1, 2 and 3, and to set up your plans, it's highlighted there for goals 4, 5 and 6. So the questions you've got are: what is the most important outcome for each goal this week? What small action would move each goal forward meaningfully? What obstacles might get in the way and how might you reduce them? What support tools or resources you need? And what would good enough progress look like for each of the goal areas? And that question is really important to reduce perfectionism. And then as you scroll through, you can go to each week and you can see perhaps what you didn't accomplish last week to move these goals forward, and what you want to move into this week to move the goals forward. And equally for each of the areas, you've got projects. So projects 1, 2, 3, these are monthly pages. So you can see progress bars on up to 4 projects for each goal area that you might be working on at any time. And then again, if you go back to the log pages in the notebook, you can set up a project for project 1, would link to project 1 back in the planner. And then if you want to add on additional pages, perhaps for milestones or project notes as you go through, that's easy to find, and then go back to the planner. And then you can see as you scroll through on the projects again, by clicking the months, you can put in by shading the progress that you're making on these projects until they're complete. We're going to look at the weekly page now. Now this is the page that personally I fall back on. So if life gets busy and I don't do the rest of the planning, I can just fall back on this page. So what you've got a page for every week of the year, and I say it's easy to find from the annual or the quarter or the monthly pages just by clicking on the week. So for example, I've got week 1 filled in here, and how you do this is again copying your 6 goals at the top here. And it's a really quick effort. You don't have to use this system, but I would recommend giving it a go. So if you wanted to, you could just literally fill in events that happened each day. But if you want to use the system, how it works is that for each area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you just quickly log the effort that you made in that area on that day. So for example, we're looking back, perhaps it's Tuesday, we're looking back on Monday, and we'll look at home and finances. So for example, might have had a big spring clean, and then you worked on your finances, so it's a really good planned out day there. So you would mark that as a 3. So 0 is no effort. So for example, fitness and good habits, you didn't do anything there. Friends, family and hobbies, you spoke to a friend, as a 1. Product design and marketing is a 2. Career and work goals, you were in work that day and you were focused, you had a good meeting, was a 3. Creative and web design is a 1. And then you total that up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you put your mood in for the day, your energy, and then how many hours you slept the night before. And then over time, you can see a week filled in here. You've got an overview, so you can see, for example, it helps with perfectionism. So perhaps you've got low scores in home and finances, but you've got high scores in creative and web design and career and work goals. So you don't need to beat yourself up that the house perhaps is not as clean and organised as it might be because you've been busy working on these areas. So it really helps to show what you're focusing on. What's good as well is you can put a note in here. So for example, it's been recommended to try in winter, the winter blues sometimes. So someone recommended trying one of these sunshine lamps. So I can put a note in here. This is what I've been doing. I started that on New Year's Eve. And then I can see over time if my mood improves, if my energy improves. So you can put your notes in here. Then you've got the notes key section for habits. So what I do here is just put a little key for habits I'm trying, like micro habits that I'm trying to get into the habit of. So for example, sad lamp is an S, 10 is 10-minute morning clean, 20 is 20-minute evening clean, workout, an hour of design on the planner, home cooked meal. So you can fill in what you plan to do for the week, and then when you've completed one of the micro habits, you can just highlight it there. So you can see at a glance when you started your habits. For example, started a workout routine there, and then you can highlight how often you're completing that. So that's a week filled in, and then you can, when you've filled the week in, you can then copy your scores and then go to your monthly review page and you can paste your scores in for the month. So again, you can see perhaps if you started running, did that improve your energy over time? And it's a motivation for you as well to see that by doing good habits, it improves your mood, it improves your scores, improves your energy. And that is how you do the weekly page. Okay, so next we're going to have a look at the time blocking and the daily page. And we'll have a look at the task pages as well. So I've set it up so you've got future ideas. So, or someday tasks, so anything that you're not going to put in this month can go in for future ideas. You've got your monthly tasks, and all these are broken down into area as well to help with task batching and remove decision paralysis as much as possible. And again, you copy your 6 goals into the top here, and then you've got weekly tasks as well. So it's nice at the end of the week to see what you've ticked off, what you might have missed. So nothing really falls through the cracks. And then you've got your BFD time block page. So just to explain this, so this is effectively, it's time blocking, but for energy and effort. So how you would work this page is we'd write out 10 life areas that you're looking to, that you need to do generally in a week. So I've put in, as an example, I've got morning habits and evening habits, which links back to the weekly page. So I'm trying to do a 10-minute clean in the morning and a 20-minute clean in the evening. So on the time block page here, I've got my morning routine and my evening routine. I've got work, career plans, fitness and food. I've booked in free time, so it's important to actually schedule free time as well, so you're not always busy. Kids education, 4, 5, 6 work, so this is work on these projects here. 1, 2, 3 work on these projects here. Friends and family and reading. So in a week, as you're setting your week up, if you know that perhaps you've got a night out on Saturday with some friends, so you'd start off by filling that in. So the B and the F and the D, what it stands for, the B is for a big effort, F is for a follow-up, and D is for a daily touch. So you'd fill your week in, so a daily morning routine, daily evening routine here, so I'll start with that. And then looking at work, so I know what days I'm in work, so Monday, Wednesday, I've got Thursday as a holiday, Friday, Saturday, so Monday would be a big day in work where I plan the week, and Friday is a week where a day where I'll review the week and plan a little bit for the next week, and then Wednesday and Friday are just normal days in work. So then I can see here, so I've set that up, So then what time I want to do some fitness and food, perhaps some meal prepping. So I'll have a look and I'll do that on a Monday, and then we'll try Monday for that, see how that gets on. Maybe the following week it didn't work on that Monday, so you want to try a different day. And then we'll have a follow-up on Thursday, and then a daily touch on Sunday. And then free time, so I'll book some free time in for Tuesday and then for Sunday. Kids education, again, we'll have a look and we see, well, on a Tuesday we've got a big day of free time there, so we can do something on the kids education there. 4, 5, 6 work, we'll do that on the Tuesday as well. 1, 2, 3 work, we'll do a little bit on that. And then friends and family, we'll probably have a catch up with someone on Tuesday night. So you can fill your week in here. And then what you've got at the bottom here is a space to put a vision for each of these areas for the week. So for example, vision for one is to keep up with cleaning, small morning workout and a daily journaling and planning practice. And then evening routine is put the house back together, unwind before bed. And then a vision for number 3 for work career plans is to have a catch-up plan in place and a rota for work, at the home and business going with time for food, shop and gym. So that's number 3. A vision for 4 is to have join the gym, rotated in time to go in and be working towards a fitness goal and diet goal. So perhaps like you want to be setting up to do a 10k run in the year or something like that. Number 6 for the kids' education, music and GCSE extra tuition. That's what we're thinking about at the moment. And then, for example, number 9 is friends and family. Plan out time with friends and family and some cheap holidays and events. So it just reminds me to get those plans in place. And then number 10, reading. So read for pleasure, personal growth, business and learning. So that's my vision for the week, and that's my BFDs set up for the week. And then you've got a goal range here. So this, again, you can review this as you go through the weeks, and it's really helpful. So how it scores is a D is worth 1, an F is 2, a B is 3. So if you just total up, so for example, work, career plans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. And then you give yourself a goal range to take 2 off that, so between 5 and 7. So that's your what would good enough look like, and that's your total goal. And then also helps you to see where you're actually spending most of your time. So my highest scores this week are kids education and 4, 5, 6 work. So that helps me to see that, you know, if it carries on like that, I'm neglecting these areas. So perhaps next week I need to lower the effort that I'm putting there and put more effort into there. So that's the BFD time block page. I say it's a way for me to do time blocking, because I could never get my head around actually scheduling out time every week, and I could never stick to it. So this is just a simpler way for me to do it. So it'd be really great to see what you think of this if you'd use this yourself. Obviously you can adapt it to however you want to do it yourself. But how this then works with the daily page is, so for example, Tuesday I've set up here, and what you'll do is you'll copy your plans, your BFD plans for the day, into the top here. And then you've got today's focus tasks. So these are tasks that are specifically focused towards your energy plans, your BFD plans. So for example, you know, find a singing teacher, do a YouTube video, which I'm doing now, is for 4, 5, 6 work. Do an account application is for finances. And then look at festivals 2026 for friends and family. So there's my goals specific to that. Then we'll touch on the daily page a bit more. You've got a daily notes task maps. This is for almost like a bullet journal. So these are for tasks from your week tasks that you want to get completed for each area. And you would go back to the day. And if you know, as you cross each task off as you do it, and if you don't do one, you can then forward it to the following day. So for example, on Monday, I've got task 3 here, which I didn't finish. And as I go on to the Tuesday, I can put task 3, but I'm looking at that and I'm thinking I'm not going to get that done anytime soon. So I can then move that task, and I've put W to indicate that it's gone to the week. And that happened to be a home and finances task, so that sits there until I come back. So perhaps on Thursday, I've got a bit more free time. I've completed my BFDs. I've got some time spare. I can have a look at my week tasks, and I can see, oh yeah, I've got time now to do that task there. So I can go back to Friday, and then I can put in that task from week 3 or task 3. and then I can get that done. Then when you're reviewing your week, you can see what you've completed. Then you've got this here, which is the BFD time block habit notes. So you can use this for however you want to do it. Personally, I've got a reading diary here, so some books I'm reading show your work, Monk's Guide to a Clean House and Mind, and just make a note of how many pages I've read there. And then you've got the reading diary itself, which you can quickly flick to, stays on the week. So what did you read or listen to this week? So what ideas stood out? So again, if there's anything, podcast on simplifying routines, what ideas stood out? Reduce friction, not ambition. Quite like that. I heard that in a podcast, so I've highlighted that. So again, as you're scrolling through reviewing your weeks and your month, you can see what reading and sort of media consumption has made an impact on you, and then you can use the daily page to keep an eye on that and make a note of what pages you've read and keep that habit going as well. So that is the BFD time block and how that links to the daily page. Okay, so we'll have a quick look through some of the other monthly pages. So you've got the monthly review, which we had a look at earlier on, so you can paste in your weekly scores here. You've also got a BFD review page, so you can see for each of the 10 areas, so you can copy the 10 areas here into your month review, BFD review, and then you can see what scores you got from the totals here in the BFD review. So you can see where you've spent your time throughout the month, so you can see a total of perhaps next month where you want to spend more time, and then you've got a monthly vision as well, so you can put a vision for each of the goals, but not for the week but for the month. And then you've got a success diary, so this is for, again, you paste in your 6 goals, and any time throughout the month where you've done something that you want to remind yourself of, just to remove a bit of that negativity bias, whatever it might be for each of the areas, you can fill that in there. So as you scroll through this, and when you scroll through as well, it keeps it on the success diary, so whichever page you're on, you can flick through, and perhaps at the end of the year, it'd be good to review this page here. And then you've got some specific questions for the month as well. So which of my 6 goals moved forward most of the month, this month, and what helped that progress? Which goal felt stuck and what contributed to that? What habits, choices or patterns supported my goals this month? And what one shift or focus would make the biggest difference next month? So there you go. So there's a monthly review. And then you've also got the monthly, the goals page, which you've got monthly here. And then you've got quarterly, 6 monthly, annual, and 3 year. And then if you want to add additional note pages here as well, so you can just go to add a note page here. So if you wanted to, for your 3 year goals, you want to make quite a few more notes than the one page, just add an extra note page on, and you can flick through and have a look there. Or just to start with, perhaps start with the January page, and you could write out your 6 goals down left here, and what a vision is for each of those goals for the month, and then for the quarter, for the year, etc. So that's your monthly review and your goals page. And then we've already had a look at the monthly projects, which are broken down by area 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, and then we can go back to a specific notebook and make notes on those projects as you go. Then we'll have a quick look at some of the other weekly planning pages. So you've got your meeting notes page, so here again you've got a fresh page every week. So you've got high impact meetings, low impact admin meetings, and the questions are which meetings are optional, delegatable or can be shortened, what preparation is needed for the high impact meetings, and who do you need to follow up with after these meetings. And then you'd have a separate meetings notebook, meeting notes. So if it's just a quick phone call, like a memo, you could just have this here with the date in the corner. And then if it's a fully prepared meeting, so you can have the purpose, key points, decisions made, next actions, owner and deadline, or perhaps you can have like a one-to-one client meeting, sales notes, they can all go in here. But then what's good about putting them in a separate notebook is you can use the expand button here, and then you can add tags to the meetings. So if this was a meeting with client A, the tags for meetings are specific to the meetings notebook, so they would stay at the top here. So client A, all their meeting notes are there. Project 1, meeting notes are there. Okay, so then we can go back to the planner. So you've got your meeting notes, and then what's also good, because you can go into the future as well, so you have a meeting here with client A, and then the next meeting is in May, so you can then go to May and say the meeting's on the 23rd, so go to meetings, and we can see the 23rd of May is here, so we click week 21, and it stays on meetings, and you can put meeting on Tuesday. So for example, I've got this set up here as an example in January. So here, Tuesday 2, Thursday 11 AM, Monday 10, and that's all filled in there. So that's the meetings page. You've got the friends and family and home. So this is which home tasks or chores matter most this week. Who do you want to connect with? What upcoming events need planning or prep? What would make home life feel calmer or more supported? And what small acts of kindness or connection could you offer someone? You've got then obviously the log 1, 2, 3. So this is for these goals here. So again, it's what's the most important outcome for each goal this week. And then at the bottom is what would good enough progress look like in the week for these ones. And then you've got your review pages. So reading, you've got a review of your Scratchpad. So Scratchpad is just, again, create a notebook here for Scratchpad, and this could be if you've taken a small phone call at work and you just need to make a note, or for example if when I was designing the planner I used the Scratchpad to make a note of the pages for the hyperlinks, so I'm going to scratch out a quick plan there. So going back to the planner, so nothing gets missed. You've got here, so what notes from this week need to become tasks, events or projects. So cancel the free trial. I noticed that was in my Scratchpad, so I can just go on to week tasks, and that's finances, and that will be the cancel the one subscription, which you can get done. And then obviously if you go into the next week, you could scroll back and see what's been missed here to put into the following week or into the months. What loose ends need tidying up, and what patterns or themes showed up in your notes. You've got a review, which is a review of your goals. What did you make most progress on of your 6 goals this week? What habits or actions supported you? Questions like that for your goals. You've got a daily journal review. So just touching on the daily journal again, this would be a separate notebook. And just a little tip, what I found good for the daily journal is when you're writing the day's entry, and this is just to get your thoughts out onto paper, and it just really helps as a practice. But if you write the date quite big like this in the corner here, when you expand the daily journal, and this is the same for the gratitude journal as well, you can quickly see at a glance. So if you're in your review page, I'll show you this so you can see how easy it is to get back and forth. So you're on your review page here, And what emotions appeared most often and what do they reveal about what matters to me is one of the questions. So you can go back and you can think, well, what day was that that something happened? Something, I think it was the 10th there. So you can see that's the 10th. You quickly click in there. So that's the daily journal. And then you've got a gratitude review as well. So what themes emerged in your gratitude entries and how can you bring more of these moments into next week? So in addition, you've got finance. Again, that's a review. What were your main expenses this week? So you can write, if you wanted to keep a log of expenses, you can write this as the week goes. You've got a meal prep page. So what meals do you want to prep for? What ingredients you already have? What needs using up? You've got a fitness diary. And you've got a creative diary as well. And for the creative notebook, which is here, again, you could use tags here. So if you're doing YouTube, you could have video ideas here, and you can tag that with vid ideas. So everything's easy to find, and then by having the notebook separate to the planner, you can always go back to the planner.
Thank you very much for watching to the end. I really do hope you found that useful. I put a lot of effort into the planner, as you can probably see. If you want to see any more of the sections in any more detail, just drop a comment below and I can try and make a video on that for you. Or if you have any other ideas for videos that you want to see related to planning on the reMarkable or habit building or anything else like that, let me know. I do have some more videos planned, so do subscribe as well. And again, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.